And we're back for game number 2 in this first best of 3, our opening action for Phase 2 of the Summit SEA qualifiers. For those who are wondering, only one team can come to land from SEA. These are 2 of the 8 teams competing. MVP.Hot6 looked shaky in game 1 as Rave jumped out to a commanding 1-0 advantage. It wasn't so much that they took the game, but more the way they took it. They slapped them around, they beat them down, and we'll have to see if MVP can bounce back here. It's a new draft, and the one big change it looks like is this time around MVP not having first pick. They'll choose to ban the Batrider, and Rave, who banned the Chen last game with second pick, will instead first pick that, snap it up. Now 2 heroes that were ignored in game 1 come out. The Sniper and the Axe for MVP, a total switcheroo. And with that said, of course, I'm not alone. I'm joined here by GoDz.
Hello, LD. I'm looking forward to game 2. MVP.Hot6 have completely swapped things up here. Here we kind of talked about being ignored in game 1. The Sniper gets taken right off the bat by MVP.Hot6, but at the same time, Rave get a hero they play incredibly well with the Chen, and in full DAC style, to me, the Chen Shadow Fiend as a duo picked up together.
Yeah, it's I'm actually surprised that these heroes were entirely ignored, especially that Sniper, man. He's been owning lately.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is not just a new trendy pick. I think this hero is insanely powerful. I remember like some stats are running on it, like some of the most high damage spells like per cast, and Shrapnel was up there in like the top 10 of non-ultimates, and this is a 50 mana spell. Like looking at one Shrapnel, like the amount of damage done, it's insane. And that's where not just the Shrapnel, the fact it gives flying vision, the fact you can cast from so far away, the hero itself has 1000 range, and this hero is just the full package, and something I think we're going to keep seeing more and more of. And well, it's going to be making its appearance here. Shadow Fiend, as far as the matchup against Sniper goes in the 1v1, pretty even. SF can kind of outfarm a Sniper if it's a pure 1v1, but Sniper has the much higher kill potential on the Shadow Fiend with a... Well, I guess both can kill each other with a setup. The Shadow Fiend can set up a couple raises. Sniper has the Shrapnel. He does the setup himself. So earlier on, it's a bit of a more dangerous lane for the Shadow Fiend.
You know, I don't know if I'd say he has it all, guys. He's a midget dwarf who's also very old, so
nice.
He's got some downsides. But when it comes to the field of Dota, yeah, I suppose he gets the job done, even if he is a bit
didn't roll it too well with as far as the genes go. I don't think he's going to be having much success with the ladies.
No. Oh, maybe they'll just be blown away by his prowess on the field of battle. But for now, he's not getting too many ladies on his team. He's got the Axe, the Witch Doctor.
Dude, Axe is getting all the ladies.
The half-naked men. It's an old dwarf and a bunch of half-naked men so far for MVP.Hot6.
No, I reckon Axe is just swimming in women who are looking to get with him. You know, that's...
He's a little violent, though. It's kind of, you know... they might be drawn to the danger until they get their heads chopped off at night.
Report Axe for domestic abuse.
Just report him for...
Women of Dota beware.
Report him for massacre. All right, so back on track with the draft now. Troll will come out here for Rave, and a Witch Doctor for MVP.Hot6 as their opening picks here in the 3rd phase. Then MVP.Hot6 respond with a Lina. They get some good burst here. Now, I guess the big question is that going to be that core Lina that we've seen a lot of? We're not going to see the Super Lina with the Troll Lina combination. I really like that machine gun status, but... something that we saw out of NIP earlier in the tournament, or not this tournament, but ES Portal, but or it could just be a support Lina. I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah. Both, I feel like Lina and Sniper, if you want to run them as calls, both really want that mid lane. Neither is particularly suited to the safe lane. Sniper just it gets a lot more space in mid lane. It's a bit harder to gank there compared to us. Like you're farming in the safe lane at some point when your opponents are ready to rotate their Chen, both their supports are going to go gank that Sniper. Mid lane's just a bit easier to protect him. And Lina similarly, like you could run a Lina safe lane. I think if you run of them safe lane, it's more like the Lina safe lane farming. We saw that with MP's Venomancer last game, but at the same time may just be a support Lina.
Yeah, Rave gonna go for the Centaur this time around.
Offlane Centaur too.
Yeah, and it's against 3 ranged heroes and an Axe. All of them pretty damn good at zoning a Centaur, so... I guess and with the Shadow Fiend, he's not going to really have an easy time taking jungle stacks. Those will mostly be reserved for him. So this may kind of be a swap where we see Rave having the offlaner that struggles to get things done unless they go aggressive. But do you really want to go aggressive when you've got a Shadow Fiend to protect mid? when you have this Troll-Chen duo. Not really the strongest makings of an aggressive tri-lane.
I think they'll just kind of have him suffer early on, and then they may look to make up for it once the Chen is ready to pick around the maybe level 5, level 6 stage for the Chen. Even the Shadow Fiend can look to rotate. Like, Shadow Fiend gets fast Yules, and that's like around like a 10 to 12 minute item that you can then look to go create space for the Centaur using the Chen Shadow Fiend. Centaur catches up, and Stampede is going to be very good against the Sniper, which I feel is the main reason this hero was picked. Having Stampede to kind of be a gap closer, not to mention just the burst damage this hero brings to the table as far as killing off squishies like a Sniper. And even just burst magic damage against an Axe is the way to be able to fight this hero. You've got to bring him down fast before he gets too many spins off.
Hot6 going to go ahead and ban out the Dazzle. They have a decent amount of physical damage. They still have that Lina for some magic, and of course they have the Chop to deal with Grave, but that's just a strong laning support, and with the Chen can prove a very fearsome 5-man healing bomb if they want to look for some early group up and push. This one's interesting though, guys. It's a Sven pick from MVP.Hot6. Not a hero we've seen much of lately.
Bit of an old school duo, the Sven Lina, and I think this may be a 4-rev farming Sven. I guess in theory you could run the Sven support, put the Lina in the farming role. It's going to be 4-rev picking it up though, and a hero that just has really fallen off as a carry. It does have a lot of good things this game as far as the Warcry giving everyone a lot of bonus armor against the Troll Shadow Fiend can kind of negate the SF aura, but I think looking at the big picture, it's unlikely, unless this hero gets really far ahead on farm against the Shadow Fiend and the Troll, he's going to have to go for a BKB. He's going to struggle to fight into the blind of the Troll. He's going to get stun locked by the Troll. There's a Bane's Fiend script now coming into play. Looking at this game, it's one of those games where I think, yeah, it's probably not exactly great for a Sven. I don't know what other carry options were really out there, but I worry for the Sven.
Yeah, I do as well. And with that said, we're going to go ahead and introduce our teams as we get underway with game number 2 in this best of 3. Rave, once again, coming in, I think even to the qualifier, they have to be the overall favorites just based on their DAC performance to take that berth and come here to land in LA. And, well, with that said, they're off to a good start. They took game 1 convincingly. We'll start with them. Chrissy, going to be playing your Troll this time around. It'll be Ninja Boogie on the Bane. Jo on the Shadow Fiend. That puts Cast onto the Chen. He is always the jungler for this team. And it's Ryo going to the offlane as the Centaur. Meanwhile, for MVP.Hot6, Forev handling the Sven. Looks like they may go for some sort of trillia with this early rate of protection. Heen on your Lina. Lost going to be playing that Sniper. And looks like he'll be headed mid with a lot of early stats. Dubu, the Witch Doctor, and it does leave Baton as the Axe, currently up towards the safe lane.
Okay, so for both the two teams, we'll see MVP looking to control the Chen's jungle early on, block the pool camp, and maybe even block some of the other camps, but Chen is prepared with sentry wards and trying to stay near enough that he can see where they plant the ward so he can get that easy D-ward off, and at the same time doesn't want to give up a quick early first blood. So it looks like Rave going to just look to get some scouting information in their own jungle, but secure the top rune as much as they can.
This easy 50 gold, although Lost starts to miss uphill, and now Heen's trying to steal his ward. He didn't get the last hit.
That's a really, really important D-ward too. That was the River ward. That's the only ward spotting out the runes that Rave had, so they'll have to use like manual scouting with their supports, because one of the things is, even if you can only see one rune, at least you know which side the non-bounty rune was on. So if you scout a bounty rune and you know the mid-hero got the other rune, you can be prepared for a haste or an invis, even if you don't know which one it is.
Yeah, I guess they do have the Chen, so they've got the creeps that can safely scout them out, but with that said, guys, we're going to see dual lanes mid. It's the Bane and Witch Doctor matching up, trying to back up their respective Shadow Fiend and Sniper. But it looks like the Bane is getting the upper hand here with that early and feeble.
I think it was like what Misery at DAC did with the support Bane, just kind of dual laning mid lane to get the mid hero off to an amazing
Chrissy,
start.
Is this first blood bottom lane? One more auto attack going to come out. He needs 2 more, I think, to get this kill. It's so close, down to 9 HP. But Salve was used. Lane's pretty much over for Chrissy. He's going to have to walk home. They don't really have anyone to support him. Maybe Ninja Boogie will rotate down, but then the Shadow Fiend could be in danger if they want to keep the Witch Doctor around.
Yeah, they were banking on that just being an offlane Axe with the Sven Lina up top, and the Troll able to at least trade evenly on farm with an Axe. But this Sven Lina, they've got a lot of kill potential here. Sven out of mana for a stun for now. Lina can clarity the Sven up if they decide to take that path, but I think they're just going to wait for Sven to get some XP and just kind of manually regen that mana. For now, they don't actually need this stun.
They're trying to make their go on Jo mid lane. He will get caught by the shrapnel. Where's your Bane, buddy? Where's your Bane? They'll chase him down a bit. I don't know if they get this kill. Needed one more shrapnel. They maybe could have dove with that last one, but I'm worried about the Chen rotation. Not sure if the Bane will poke his head out again, and they just opt to play it safe.
Would have been banking on a headshot proc, and
they
level 1 shrapnel, not that high.
They do have the hill wards. They kind of have an idea who's around, but yeah, just playing it safe.
So Jay at mid, looking for that bottle, has the money for it now, so all that pressure on him kind of can get negated, and he's just happy to kind of chew through the shrapnel charges, which are somewhat a precious resource for a sniper. You want to have that triple shrapnel for when a gank comes your way. SF.
Yeah, or just to set up the kill as well.
Yeah. So offensive trial lane now going to be happening bottom lane, with Witch Doctor deciding that mid lane, his job's done, sniper is level 3. At this point, it's like, SF has bottle, what can you actually do against the SF apart from gank with, I think, if you want to gank him, you need to bring more than just a Witch Doctor now. You need that hero like a Lina on top of that, potentially.
We're going to see Cast make his way up towards the top rune. Of course, that rune was already grabbed. Maybe even just swings around into the enemy jungle. He's a bit worried about these supports being off the map right now. And of course, you can see with the Radiant Vision, they got dewarded in their woods, and they have no idea. So Cast is making the right call here in terms of dodging those supports. But they see him now. They've got the hill ward up, and they're even bringing in the Bane. So these two together, maybe not the easiest combination to bring down, but they're being kind of pushed around a bit. As we'll see MVP just continue with their dual lane, and the Witch Doctor hanging out mid once more. Still no kills on the board yet. Chrissy getting completely shut down. On top of that, we haven't talked about this top lane yet, GoDz, but of course Axe is just going to dominate a Centaur 1v1, and he's doing exactly that. I gotta say, this laning stage going great for MVP.Hot6 so far. The two side lanes being won by MVP.Hot6, and mid lane at least fairly even right now, with SF maybe he's slightly ahead of the sniper, and probably will stay ahead because he's can raise out creep waves and also fall back to his jungle, but it's not like Sniper is getting beat in lane. It's just the SF's getting slightly more farm. And the fact that MVP.Hot6 know where the Chen and Bane are, they had the vision of that rotation, gives them a really nice little edge, although have to be a bit careful here, Ninja Boogie. Trying to get level 2 so he can have a Nightmare to set things up here, possibly look for a kill on this Axe up top. Yeah, he does have the Nightmare now. The rotation was spotted, so Axe seeing that, he's like, Bane's level 1, I'm just going to run at them. Thinks better of it now, and it's just going to hang back. They will smoke, and they smoke out of dire vision. Maybe they can get the jump here on someone like Dubu, who is swinging around. If he walks up the ramp, he may give up the first blood, but heads the other way. In the meantime, bottom lane, Peekaboo with Chrissy, who will get scouted out by Forev. Is their TP coming? They're still waiting to set up mid. 2 kills potentially happening simultaneously, but looks like bottom lane, they get juked. They don't find him, and Dubu will be the one who's caught out, but the cast begins to bounce. Ninja Boogie with the sleep, has no brain sap. Raise number 1, raise number 2. Easy first blood. Goes the way of Rave. They get on the board, and it looks like they maybe even go for the sniper here. He'll bait out that last raise. He'll make it out, and in the end, that troll just too difficult to locate and bring down bottom.
Chrissy with the Quelling Blade being picked up, less so to last hit than just use those tree juke paths. He's cut himself so many little escape paths underneath here, and it's so hard for them to get this kill because they've got to have vision to use a Stormbolt. It's not like, I mean, you can just throw a AoE Lina stun if you have a general idea where the troll is and maybe use that to chop down trees, but they want the reliable stun setup from Forev. And nicely played by Chrissy to at least stay alive, but end of the day, they're shutting him down. He's got 1 CS to the Sven's 31 CS right now. Forev getting a ton out of this lane.
And, you know, the other thing, GoDz, is the team with the Chen is down 1,000 experience at 5 minutes with first blood. That is not something you see very often.
Him and Ninja Boogie were level 1 for a very long time. Like, Lina was level 3 when the Chen Bane were both still level 1. They're now starting to catch up a little bit by using this enemy jungle, but it feels like a slow and steady kind of catch up right now. And the Witch Doctor's still nearby. The Witch Doctor near them, Baton can cut them off, and then you bring in the sniper. These two supports could be in a lot of trouble. Does he get that
cask off? He does. It bounces, then to the creeps. Doesn't hit the Centaur, though, so they'll have to stomp. But they're fleeing. The 4 heroes swinging in from the rear. They bring in that Lina as well. Gets the stun on Cast. Get the hell out of my jungle, she says. And looks like he will. Another shrapnel. Can they chase down Ninja Boogie? Nope. Stampede's there. They'll make it out safely as they scurry backwards, but they have been thoroughly evicted. They are no longer welcome in this dire woods. Troll finally gets some breathing room bottom. I suppose there's that for Rave.
But yeah, overall, really nice for MVP.Hot6. The kill and the Stampede cooldown, which is one of those ultimates which you want to try and use somewhat sparingly when you first get it around this stage of the game. You want to be getting a kill, or at least saving a high-value target. Saving a Bane there. End of the day, the Bane dies. It's level 2.5 Bane. It doesn't feel like it's the best use. It's not gonna hurt Rave necessarily, but it could mean that it's just a little bit less pressure coming out on the MVP.Hot6 side because it's one less cooldown to worry about.
Yeah, that Centaur's actually done really well, I have to say. Considering he's 1v1 against an Axe, I suppose it's largely due to those supports being off the map / in the Dire Woods. Because of that, the Axe can't really pressure and punish him as much, but their Centaur is going to have a reasonably timed blink if this keeps up. Ryo, 1,100 gold in the bank, joining the rest of his squad as they move as 4 down bottom. There is no vision. Oh, 4ev, not where you want to be. He war cries, but you can't run when you're slept, and now he'll be double stopped. It's a Centaur party bottom lane, a nice stun. Double stun coming out from 4ev, along with Heen, but they still get the kill. That's some heavy commitment, though. Both heroes, these cores, too low to push, and when you're splitting that kill between 4, you're really not getting that much experience for your team.
That was one of those really risky ganks. That's where they really needed a Stampede. It worked out, but it could have very easily gone the other way if MVP.Hot6 just had like another level on the Lina, was level 6, and if the Sven just somehow gets that stun off a little bit faster, like maybe the Lina shows up and toggles off that sleep, and then suddenly Sven chain stuns with the Lina and you're in all sorts of trouble. So that only barely went okay for Rave. Rave's still not doing too bad. SF is the top net worth hero by a big margin, and that, end of the day, is a bit of a concern for MVP.Hot6. They need to get something done with this Sven here in the early game. He's got Treads, Bassy, he's got a lot of CS here, going for these kind of basic items, and we'll see if he goes for, I think something like a Drums Blink is going to be fine here. I don't think he has to go for big carry items. He needs to be one of the kind of, similar to the Tiny last game, where he has to be fighting early and creating a lot of the space for the team.
Well, SF looks like he'll be the Yule Scepter build for him. Gets the Sage's Mask, so going for that easy kill potential, and a lot of juicy targets for him to drop a Requiem on. Pretty much anybody would be a solo kill at this stage of the game, and certainly once he gets the level 2 ulti. Do want to point out, nice Observer Ward plopped down here by Rave as they set up that kill. It ends up saving them from a potential counter gank bottom, with the Lina Sven going for a tower dive, but warding has, for the most part, gone MVP.Hot6's game, or their way so far this game, but now maybe swinging back in Rave's favor. They get a ward down at the top rune a little bit earlier, they've avoided a gank, and it seems they're stabilizing on the back of that Shadow Fiend, as you pointed out.
Yeah, so SF, level 9, gets his first point in ulti, farming his jungle, farming the lane. And yeah, the Axe Blink coming soon, though. This is going to be the next big time for MVP.Hot6. I don't think they have to be prioritizing these ganks on the SF necessarily, but they need to be at least getting some signs of like kind of snowballing off of this. Finding kills and finding objectives as well. Not just kills, they need to turn it into some tier 1 towers. Use the sniper as well at this stage. Just phase Aquila. This sniper at level 8 can do a lot of damage and really kind of combo well with the Axe initiation. Sven similarly building this bracelet. Basically, MVP.Hot6 want to just constantly fight here in the mid game. They're not very reliant on like any long cooldown ultimates. They can just have a lot of uptime here and just keep taking objectives if they find kills with their Blink Axe.
Speaking of that Blink Axe, he might get scouted here by this Observer Ward. It already denied 1 gank bottom. It could end up denying 2. As it is, Chrissy doesn't really want to enter the lane anyway. And speaking of Chrissy gods, the Tranquil Boots Troll Warlord. I'm not sure if you mentioned that yet, but
no,
this is a poverty troll.
He's going utility mode, I guess.
I suppose you have the Shadow Fiend to right-click and Battle Trance, you know, it's equally good regardless of your boots, but this is just...
Yeah.
I don't think you see this if it's an even game. Uh-oh, hold that thought. Jo caught out mid, Death Ward coming out, Jo scatters and assassinate, will it find him in time? Oh, barely escapes with his life there, 65 HP. Looks like they did not have any points in Maledict just yet.
That's a Stampede worth using to save your top net worth Shadow Fiend. That is every single time. Ryo now with a Blink Dagger up top lane. Won't have a Stampede to go with it, but just a Blink Stun. He TPs. Actually, the Bane TPs down bottom. Centaur may consider doing so as well, but for now, we're going to try hide his Blink Dagger in the trees up top.
They're going to find 4F bottom lane. Well, I guess who's found who? Lina? Oh, good job. You found my Sven. How's about a little fiery death in your face? They'll end up falling, and now Rave TP'd in reinforcements, which means a free tower mid if they want to stick around for this, but Actually, Shadow Fiend gonna rotate in, and it looks like it's not so free after all. Raise down the wave, they get off another stun. There's your first chop to get the fight going. Centaur wants to turn it, but he's low now. He could be the second chop. Is it gonna get into critical HP? Battle Hunger coming out. Can he get off the blink? The early fail whiff dunk, but it's a kill nonetheless, as Sven will swipe him into submission. The creeps will be relocated a bit farther back to the Chen at base, and he'll go heal them up, but when the dust settles, they end up losing their troll. I suppose at this point he's a support. He's now going for a Vlad's.
He's, like you say, poverty central. If he had a better game, he'd be going different. I still think the Treadcools is not like a terrible line for getting on a troll. Obviously, if you're not going to do it, if you're free farming, you want to get the phase boots, but by no means, like, everything this item gives you is great. It gives you more movement speed than your regular boots. It gives you armor. Top jungle, Ancients, Jo gonna turn and fight. He gets melded with an assassinate.
Oh, is he gonna get denied by the neutral? The sniper backs off. He gets a little scared, and Maledict last tick will get the kill. In the meantime, Centaur with a Blink Stomp. He's off the mark and lost, grabbing an Invis rune. Will be able to retreat as Rave scramble their defenses, but too late to save the Shadow Fiend. And now they might lose their Chen army as well. MVP.Hot6 showing some real gumption here as they try to fight their way back at this game. The army barely brought back to safety, but one creep does fall in the end, and with that, it looks like a tower might as well. You know, GoDz, after how hard they got smacked down in game one, I frankly just assumed they were going to get run over in this game too, but they're proving me, and I think a lot of the viewers wrong, making a really good showing.
And this is the game really to show where this team stands right now. They've got a lead, they're in position to take objectives one by one, take Roshan, and win this game off of some good mid-game aggression, but it's also not a big enough lead where Rave, with just some smart play and a team that's showing that they're going to be having the better mid to late game decision making, can very quickly turn this around. It's just going to take one fight where a center initiation with an SF follow up with a Rec Room is suddenly MVP.Hot6 getting team wiped and suddenly game's lost. So if MVP.Hot6 play this right, take objectives and do so in a safe fashion, they're looking good, but it's still a very, very topsy-turvy game if they don't execute properly.
You know, even more interesting for Chrissy, he doesn't even level up his Whirling Axes. He's actually Max Berserker's Rage first. You do not see this build particularly often. Like, maxing the Rage over the Fervor we have seen on occasion, but to not even level up the Axes. This is... I suppose his mana pool is very limited with the Basilius, and maybe he's just feeling like he's not going to get to use his Axes too often. But then again, they're 50 mana for each, so... not that expensive. Mid lane, Jo gets caught out. He's swaggered his way in, maybe a bit too far. Stun comes out. They need one auto attack to bring him down. He jukes into the trees. He will pop like a pinata. As they chase out Ninja Boogie, he pops the heal from the Brain Sap. Trying to keep himself alive. No siree. The dunk will end him. In the meantime, everyone from Rave, once again, I feel like they've been doing a lot of this game. TPing away to safety. While it's MVP charging in for aggression. They maybe make a go on this sniper, though. Top lane, Blink. Stop. He popped his Mask of Madness right as the jump came out. Ends up costing him his life. So Rave gets something out of this, but once again, the SF dies and the trades just continue to favor MVP. That said, SF is still the lead farmer in spite of this.
Yeah, if this was just like trading kills here and there, but not currently SF, I'd be a bit concerned for MVP.Hot6. So that's 2 deaths in a row on the Shadow Fiend. Really important to be just slowing down Jo. His Yule Scepter now comes up, and this is what you kind of need in those situations. He needs to just defensively, he can maybe dodge something like a Sven Stun, even though it does set... Even if you dodge a Sven Stun, though, it still sets up the Lina for the Light Strike array, so he has to be careful about how he uses this Yules and plays around it, but it does give him at least some defensive and offensive options, but in Rave's current position, I think more often than not, he's going to be using this very defensively and just using it to kind of accelerate his farm with the mana regen and mobility that it provides him, but Rave have to pick their battles very carefully this game.
Well, they're picking one now. They move into the Dire jungle, 3 heroes up top, and perhaps have their sights set on Heen. Currently no vision of him. They're going to show a hero in the lane. Let's see. Is it the troll? Looks like Chrissy will poke his trollish head out. And at the same time, Heen hangs back. They're swinging at Baton, who's now completed a Vanguard. Not an easy target to burst down. Rave, outside of the Requiem and the Raises, basically outside of the Shadow Fiend, they don't have a whole lot of burst damage here, and they may struggle to kill off this axe, but they'll swing Jo around. He's going to try to raise the wave. Baton could jump him, perhaps, but with the Yule Scepter, wouldn't be the easiest kill in the world.
Sven has a newly purchased Blink Dagger, which I don't think Rave have scattered out. They'll be ready for like the Axe Blink initiation, but Sven could catch him by surprise.
This could really catch them off guard.
This is the time to back off, though. Every single MVP.Hot6 hero is off the map. You assume they're rotating top to defend. If they're not pushing other lanes and you're pushing top, there's only one option, and that's their defending top. So
Blink Dagger comes in, they get the call immediately. The Stormbolt and an Assassinate also coming out. Again, a Whiff Chop. This guy does not know how to dunk, but it's okay. They'll get that first kill anyway, as your Shadow Fiend looks to bring down Baton. Will be successful for Ev. Also forced back. Not really the best to initiate here. Now they're going to get off a grip. It's quickly canceled, though, as the cast bounces through. A 2 heroes done. Now the Death Ward. This could get ugly real quickly. Jo down. Make it 3. It might be 4. Assassinate. Pow! Right in the kisser. They'll bring them all down. Outside of that Centaur, who just sits back and watches his base burn. Well, not his base yet, but his towers. 4F dropping low to this jump in from Ryo, but the Warcry keeps him alive. Now they turn. It's gonna be 5. Outplayed by 4F in the clutch. Rave reeling after yet another lost fight.
Greed is good. Well, not so good in the case of Rave there. They start off that fight perfectly. They traded 1 for 1. They kill the Axe, lose their Troll. Fight was won at that point for Rave, and then they tried to chase. Bane was like, look guys, I'm going to Fiend Script someone, let's go for this. At first it looked like he was maybe going to catch out the Sven there, but he ended up not being able to reach the Sven. Found a Witch Doctor, but didn't even get the Fiend Script off because the cast was mid-air when he used it, and everyone just chased into their deaths there. If Rave had just backed off after killing the Axe, that would have been a great fight for them. Even if they lose their T1 tower and trade 1 for 1, it was still a good fight. SF stays alive, they get a high priority kill on the Axe, and just slow down some of the MVP.Hot6 aggression, but what results is an absolute disaster and just good knowledge from MVP.Hot6 of when to back off and then when to re-engage.
I just look at this Rave draft, and it really feels like a lineup that wants to be playing from ahead. You've got pretty strong laners in the Troll and the Shadow Fiend. A Chen who should be able to outfarm the supports of MVP.Hot6. Get that early mech, look to push on the back of the Shadow Fiend Troll Chen trio. But instead, GoDz, they've just been constantly on the back foot, playing defense. It's not really what their lineup's built to do, and of course they could recover, as you pointed out, if they get that big Requiem triple raise, but it gets harder and harder as the game moves along. The Vanguard's out on Axe, now we're looking at Alina closing in on a Yule Scepter, with the, oh, actually a Force Staff, but another defensive item for this team. The Sniper's got even more move speed to work with, and as these heroes get levels, they're going to tank up, so that insta-kill combo gets more and more elusive.
And I really like the way 4F is itemizing. Went for the Blink Dagger to keep on fighting aggressively, and then even goes back for a Vlad's pickup after that fight.
They're going to find Lost again, and once more, it's been really unfortunate for him. I think he dies there anyway, but every time he pops Mask of Madness, it's right when they catch him. Oh, he dies quickly now. Ryo also going to die quickly. A Laguna Blade, a chop for good measure. And this time, Baton does not rim out. He passes it along flawlessly.
So, MVP.Hot6 now, they've taken all the Tier 1 towers. Possibly looking at Roach, the Vlad's pickup can allow them to do that a bit easier. But for now, Sniper on the sidelines, one of their main sources of physical damage, going to kind of limit their Roach-taking capabilities. But they're looking really good. Even their supports, like Heen on the lean, is getting some good farm. He's got a 4-staff complete in 50 gold, and these dire supports are just far, far ahead of the Radiant ones. Chen doesn't even have a completed mech, hasn't even gone for the Arcane Boots. He's just going to go straight into that mech. They will scout out MVP.Hot6 near their jungle with some Chen creeps, but this is not exactly going to be a fight Rave are looking to take even with that.
They see Jo, can they get that quick blink stun before Yules? No, he'll drop the Yules on the Sven. Okay. Felt like he had a moment there, but then realized he was out of mana and unable to get the initiation he was searching for. Meanwhile, mid, Baton slept. And it looks like there will be a jump here on the Lina, who's been spotted out and isolated, but a double damage Sniper rushes in, kills off Cast, now looks for Ryo, as the Chen creeps will cover the path of retreat. He'll end up surviving. In the meantime, Jo just try to frantically split push this top lane, and when the dust settles, it's a support for a support, and it looks like even a tier 1 going Rave's way.
Yeah.
Finally getting something. It will cost them potentially a Roshan, though.
They lose the Chen army, so I think overall, big picture-wise, MVP.Hot6 are like, okay, at some point we want to get Roshan, and we may have to get a tier 1 tower for it, but from the Rave camp, they're also thinking, like, that's all we can do. Like, this is at least something going our way. We get an objective, we get some money going around, and they're also pressuring the tier 2. This may not just be a tier 1. They want this tier 2 tower. Roche will drop soon, so there is some time to TP back, but 1-by-1 TPs could set up some kills for Jo, but they're going to back off, realizing that this is... Oh, maybe actually...
Oh, Jo! He hesitates for a second. He'll be called. Then a Blink Stun will follow this up. He might even get dunked before he gets to make a move. Maladin comes out. The cask will fly. Can they follow this up in time, though? The Stampede, bringing it back towards safety. Another Blink forward. A dunk! Kaboom! And now he calls Ninja Boogie as well. Baton is heating up. And a stun following up from the Sven. It's a double Dunkerino. A Rave special. They get served up on a juicy platter. They give up the Roshan. They don't take the tower. Jo just a slight misstep there, and it costs him his life.
Yeah, gets a bit too... Just overstays his welcome just that little bit too long there. Thought he could maybe use up the axe, but the turn time or whatever it was, I don't know if it was going for a kill or just trying to throw axe up in the air before he retreated. Cost him his life. Troll, though, does pick up a Sergeant Yasha, so at least Chrissy's kind of got back to a point where he can fight to some extent. Just Sergeant Yasha Vlad's with Max Fervor and Berserker's Rage. He's actually a decent man fighter who can kind of take the Sven in a right-click battle now, especially a Sven without BKB, but it's never going to come down to like a 1v1 between him and someone like a Sven. There's always going to be these nukes flying around with the Lina, the Sven, the Witch Doctor ultimate, so it's going to be a lot trickier than that for Rave at this stage, for Chrissy especially.
Yeah, it feels like they may really need to just rat as much as possible, but it's not going to be easy with the double blink and the force. You've got a lot of mobility here for MVP. Good chasing power from the Mask of Madness Sanjin Yasha Sniper, not to mention the Assassinate to track heroes down. And on top of that, the lack of map control. That really feels like it's costing them. They can't just walk around in their jungle freely, playing very defensively. It's a complete role reversal from game one.
Well, let's see what Rave look to do. As far as comeback go, I feel like this is definitely a game, unlike last game, where there's a lot of comeback potential here. They get a good initiation, pull up the lean at bottom lane, but the counter initiation is there. For going to bring down your Bane, or is he the Nightmare TP out? Ninja Boogie Tower last hits will help bring him down. A 2-for-1 trade. Still, these are the kind of trades which are slightly Hot6 favored, but always it feels like Rave are getting farm ultra on the map, both Troll and SF, so it feels more like a 50-50 trade in some ways, even though the kill advantage goes Hot6's favor.
Well, the numbers say it's pretty even. I think the graph's going to dip down a little bit here, but it's not like it's just plummeting 1,000 gold or something.
Yeah.
So in that sense, they are keeping even. And considering their position, they'd have to feel good about it.
Yeah, and from the sense that Hot6 are meant to be winning fights, because you spend itemizers for a Drums, Vlad's Blink, all these like cheap kind of 2k cost-effective items to fight now. If you're getting actual 50-50 trades on net worth, then that's bad for you. It's like you have to be winning fights because you're not going to scale as well to a late game status when you're buying all these cheaper items. Like, yeah, you can replace them if you're out farming, and he currently is out farming the Shadow Fiend, but you're always going to lose some gold in the process. And that's where Rave, I think, at least making the most out of what they can get. And that's just kind of like a necessary risk at bottom lane. If they get out there and trade 1-for-1, it's a win for them. The ending trade, the 1-for-2 loss, is kind of a 50-50 trade since they're making space for SF and Troll. Troll working a BKB, that's going to be a very much needed pickup for him as well.
They do have that Berserker's Call, as well as the Witch Doctor ulti. Some tools to deal with this, but it blocks a lot of the incoming damage. Oh no, Jo trapped out top lane. It's the Blink Bros on the hunt, dunked again. That's the kill they can't give up. Giving up the supports, maybe giving these 2-for-1s involving the Centaur. That's okay, but once you... Uh-oh, they might even lose Ninja Boogie. He's trapped out here. They have a Stampede. They'll use it to retreat out. Then he TPs from around the tree line. There's a Strand Stun available. Too late to get it. But yeah, if you're giving up your Shadow Fiend and you're not taking like a tower and a core or something, that's the trade they just can't afford.
That was where things started to go wrong for Rave. Like the early game, they were giving up some kills, but for the longest time, it was like MVP.Hot6 leading on kills, getting good item timings like their Blink Dagger and Axe, but SF was a good 1,500 net worth ahead of everyone.
Nice four-step here from Heen. As Ryo blinked in to try and initiate, hope he punished by a Death Ward. The defensive sleep comes out, it ends quickly, and Lina gets her vengeance with the Laguna Blade. May cost her life, though. The Sniper really not able to get much done on his own, slowly winding his way through Ninja Boogie's HP pool. At the same time, nobody able to damage him. Assassinate won't be enough. He's down to 30 HP, does survive. Chrissy gets one swing of the axes and then dies anyway. This has been the saddest Troll Warlord performance I've ever seen. Oh my. 0-3. I don't even think you can really fault him too much, but it's just the end result is pitiful to look at.
Yep. Rave definitely getting a bit out lane this game. They thought they could put the Bane mid to get the SF the advantage of the sniper, but not really considering what that would lead to with their other lanes. The Troll getting punished in lane by a Sven Lina lane. And well, things still looking very good for Hot6. They get together about a 7k gold lead, a 10k plus experience lead. And we're just not seeing anything coming out of the Rave squad right now. Jayo's trying to get what items he can. He's kind of up there as far as net worth goes, but 1, 5, and 1. He's going to, I imagine, go for a BKB next, but even with a BKB, he's just going to get right-clicked down at some point. Sven now has a BKB of his own. And
they see Baton. They want to go with the Requiem. They will almost bring him down. No, he gets off the call. This could be bad. The Witch Doctor's coming. He's got a Death Ward. It's going to start bouncing. They get that first kill. Then the Yule Scepter comes out, which leaves Ryo to his own fate. He'll fall. It's a 1-for-1. And Shadow Fiend ends a mega kill streak. Rave coming out big there, and they'll be happy with that exchange.
SF gets a big creep wave, gets up to his level 16. So just now 500 away from that BKB if that's going to be his item of choice. I don't really see anything else that's going to be too useful. A Skadi's probably the other option. You want to tank up. Maybe having the slow to go through a BKB Sven is going to be nice. But Magic Immunity against Maledict, Lina, Sven stuns, Shrapnel just seems like the way to go.
Well, for now, they're lurking, gods. They've got that aggressive ward down. We saw this one used to great effect by Rave yesterday. Or, not yesterday. Last game. Oh, man. Losing my sense of time here. But, no, it's a good ward. It'll help them secure this tower. And looks like Rave are once again going to go back to what was working for them earlier. They'll go for the split push, go for the trades. They have the troll ulti. There's no dire glyph, so they may even get a tier 2 mid.
Yeah. And this is just nice. It will force MVP.Hot6 to defend these lanes, and they may get the top tier 2 tower with just a sniper staying there, and they may not even take a tower, and Rave may not even take a tower at mid lane or bottom lane, but it forces at least a couple TPs back. It alleviates some of the kind of 5-man potential of MVP.Hot6 and opens up Rave to, hey, even if they're not getting towers, they're taking their own jungle.
Well, Stampede does get forced out here, as Lost will be Troll Trapped to start it off, but 4F finds that first kill. Now they jump the Sniper, they get him down, they kill him off with the BKB Shadow Fiend now gripping 4F. What a great start to the fight. Well, scratch that. He will end up falling. BKB on the Shadow Fiend wears off. It's a 2-for-1 thus far. The Sniper is the key casualty, though. That's the lone core to drop. Ryo now. No Stampede. He gets off the stomp. Only on 1. Troll comes rushing in. Will bring down Heen, it looks like, with the Requiem backup. Jayo swagging his way forward in this fight. Maybe even comes out on top. It's a triple kill for 4F, but it's a 3-for-3 overall, and Jayo does end up surviving.
That was really nice for Rave. They played that well. They stood really far back here. Baton getting quickly run away from Chrissy, realizing he actually can't man-fight a troll with Sanj and Yasha, and at this stage with level 17. And Chrissy, like, even when they re-engaged after that fight, he stayed in range form. He was like, look, I don't care about my melee form getting bashes. I want to stay as far away from this Sven as possible. That was how they killed the Lina. The Centaur for the Lina trade kind of took out a big damage dealer for Hot6, and then SF just deals with the Witch Doctor. That was just good kind of execution and kiting out of Rave, using the range advantage that the SF as well as Troll have over a Sven.
Yeah, I don't know if I would call it a comeback just yet, gods, but a couple more fights like that, and it could be. Jayo getting scouted out here by a dire ward. Baton has eyes on him, but little do they know there's a lot of heroes in the neighborhood. Chrissy, no BKB yet, but he's tanky anyway. Maybe they bring him down, but it's going to cost them a lot. They'll get that first kill cast. Oh, he's squishy. That's the low-hanging fruit. They'll bring him down to Bane, juking through the trees, but he can't juke from the ward. Ninja Boogie going to find him. Well-placed ward there, sets that one up, and with 3 dead, just every time. Oh, Jayo. You don't want to stay here too long, my friend. This is a bold move, but he'll blink into the trees. Lina, starts with the Dragon Slave. If he just trusted his instincts and went for that stun, he probably gets him there.
The stun was cool. He'd already used a blind stun. It was on cooldown.
Oh, it was on cooldown. Okay.
He'd used it because he lost vision of SF and thought he was in the trees further down. But suddenly 3 heroes on the sidelines. No buybacks available. High ground being breached.
All of a sudden, there's no glyph, there's no buybacks. 12 seconds until the Bane's up, 20 until the Troll's up. It looks like they may just lose Rax here. MVP.Hot6 not hesitating. They will swat down the melee. They still have all their tier 2s, so they've got some buffer buildings here. Even if Rave finds some kill trades, unlikely to find the building trades in the near future. They'll back off now, but well, it looks like they will. Yeah, they've gotten what they came for. There's no Roche for another minute or so, but get down this nice aggressive Observer ward. Unfortunately, it is spotted, I think, by Jayo. as he had a creep walking up the hill. They blink in. And, well, that one used to follow, but that's been patched, I guess, sometime in the past 4 to 6 months.
And they're going to meet... They smoked under the ward. Oh, they could... I think MVP.Hot6 either set up to fight this. They've got BKB Sven. Sven a bit low on mana, unfortunately. If he had more mana for an ulti, I think they would fight this.
They're going to TP out Heen. The BKB Asar popped. Shadow Fiend as well as Sven. He's going to chase onto him. Dubu able to survive for now. He's fairly tanky on this Witch Doctor. Not tanky enough, though. He'll be run down. Jo forced off the fight. In the meantime, the Witch Doctor dies in the river. Your Sven looking to snag that gem, which has been dropped to the floor. And maybe he didn't see it, actually. He's not going for it.
They're pinging. Olina's saying, guys, this gem was dropped. Someone's going to pick this one up, and Sven will do so.
It's like, I don't really want to drop my drums, but I'll take the pull.
Moments like that is when you realize MVP.Hot6, like, they've got the talent there, but like the team decision-making there was... They were very much not split as far as what to do there. They saw that entire smoke. They all kind of ran together, and then Lena's like, I gotta TP out. They're gonna catch up to me. They've got smoke movement speed. They've got Stampede. Sven wasn't able to fight because he didn't have mana for the ulti. If Sven has a God Strength there, that SF can't really go in with BKB because Sven just Mask of Madness, God Strength, and just destroys him. So, end result is pretty good for Rave. It is still going to be an Aegis secured for Hot6, and Hot6 still have the edge here. With the Rax advantage, of course, and now an Aegis in their hands.
Roshan dropping pretty quickly here as your Shadow Fiend. Jo going to take a towers. Again, Rave getting just good enough trades that you can't really rule them out. And in fact, the graph even tips up. I think it didn't take the Roshan into account just yet, but that should be balanced out by the tower. So net worth settles around a 5k gold lead, a 6k experience lead. A slight advantage for MVP, but considering how good the game has looked in terms of overall tempo, it just does. It shows you Rave's poise under pressure, I think. There's a reason why this team finished 5th at DAC.
Yeah.
They're going to jump in on Lost now. This time, though, they don't get the clean initiate, and Ryo will be forced to retreat. He force staffs back out. They chase on in with the Sven, though. Oh, this could be bad for Ryo. They're probably going to have to sack him. Yeah, he's done for.
I guess, again, a trade happening. Well, kind of trade happening. Jo's trying to finish off this tier 2 tower. The glyph may mean him backing off, though. I don't think he's going to try to finish off. Shivers almost actually cancels the blink. That would have been a problem. Without a TP, Jo, he's being pinged out. I think they should have scouted the fact that
maybe he tries to go to the enemy base to buy one, but that's not going to happen with the Assassinate here. They maledict him. Now they're going to call him. This is a big death. He's the most farmed hero on the Radiant. He loses about 600, 700 net worth there, and more importantly, a dominating streak fed to the axe. Now up to 1,500 gold. That one death, a 1,800 experience change, about a 1,300 gold swing. Not overwhelming, but a big one.
That's really problematic, because he does not want to buy back. It was 600 gold lost initially, but potentially another 1,200 lost if he has to buy back to defend the high ground. With 50 seconds on the sidelines, I think Hot6 are just going to group up mid. Lena's kind of far away, but they can start just chipping away before Lena even gets here. They've got Sniper who can just stay on the low ground. They've got the Axe Fan as their kind of bruisers, and Rave, their ability to defend right now is not exactly particularly strong. The Chen is just not known for his high ground defensive abilities, and just not known for being a late game comeback hero in general anyways.
They're running out of second chances. They lose one more core in this position. That's probably a later Rex. Beautiful Nightmare dodge. Well done by Ninja Boogie. He will bench to retreat on the back of that. I don't know if it's enough to turn the tides, but it's doing a good job of stalling this game. They really don't want to commit to the buyback. Radiant gets a tier 2 bottom again with the trades, but they're hammering away to tier 3. The big question, the million-dollar question is, does MVP stick around for the melee? It looks like they want to. Enfeeble thrown out on the axe of all heroes. Not the one you really want to be using on, but they'll cost them 2 melee wrecks now across the map. Baton will Shivas. He'll call.
I know SF has no souls, which is the big thing where, like, if it's waiting on an SF to come back, it's like, well, he's going to respawn and not have the damage up what he wants because of the lack of souls. He can throw a Requiem. Still worth it for the damage reduction, especially on BKB heroes like a Sven if you hit the Sniper, but end of the day, you're not going to be able to blow up any hero with that Requiem, or like you'll set up into a Requiem, whatever it may be.
And GoDz, this game just got a lot harder. Suddenly, completed Assault Caress on 4F. They have BKB on Sven as well. Everybody else has huge amounts of HP. The Sniper at 2,100 with an Aegis. So you can't really count on your magic damage, and I don't think you can easily go blow for blow against Warcry and AC. That is a lot of plus armor. You're looking at 16 from the Warcry, another 5 from the AC for everyone. Everybody gets 21 armor. And then on top of that, Axe has a Shivas, Sniper has a Scotty, and will hopefully not be in the front lines for MVP.Hot6. Game is getting very hard very quickly.
Yeah, you see this insane amount of armor from the AC and the Warcry, and you think, okay, Troll's probably not doing much damage to fight. SF's got the Requiem, but he's building into a right-click build with the Butterfly. It almost feels like E-Blade would have been maybe a slightly better... I mean, either way, it's like you're in all sorts of deep shit, but you need magic damage at some point if they're going to stack armor as much as they are right now. But
yeah, they don't have an Elder Titan. They don't have any huge minus armor. Just that Shadow Fiend.
Evasion is going to help though. The Butterfly is still a nice pickup, but it's just one of those things where I feel like you almost need to go for something a bit different and special against this MVP lineup if you want to defend, especially now that you're down 2 Melee Rats.
And Evasion is only so good against the Sniper. And of course, every headshot, which is that 40% chance, is a guaranteed auto attack. You can't evade it, so. But Taunt getting in onto Jo here. They'll blink in. They go in with the Sven as well. Yule's dodging that. He doesn't want to commit his BKB just for a Sven stun. And he won't be forced to. Nice dodge there, as Forev may have to use his own BKBs. Troll trapped. Looks like he'll be okay. He runs back in. It's the Axe who goes and gets the 2-hero call. Supports down, boys. Now looking for more. Jo gonna eat the Death Ward. Almost full duration. 1-2 more chops would do it, but the Chen stun stops the Sven. All kinds of ends here. Ryo maybe not so lucky, though. Casca bouncing, chopped as well. They're all on the back foot. The Troll even came home, but this Tranquil Boots Troll, he ain't scaring anybody. 3 dead. Shadow Fiend on the sidelines in the well, and it looks like MVP.Hot6 are going to get the SEA qualifier Phase 2 underway with a Game 3. As they strike back, they pound into the throne. There's no buybacks. Jo trying to outplay them with the blink back, but they're out of second chances. They're out of options. We're going to a Game 3.
This MVP team, they're no pushovers. Not Rave's most well-played game. I feel like individual performance-wise, like the Troll dying as he did bottom lane, yeah, it's a tough dual lane here and he's not going to get farmed, but there was just a few kind of unnecessary deaths. Jo got quite a lot this game, but hats off to MVP.Hot6. They played and they found those pickoffs. They used their blinks on the Sven as well as Axe to perfection. Much bigger kind of performance out of those blink initiators compared to game 1 with the tiny blink, which didn't get enough done. This just seems like a draft that suits this MVP team a lot better with the mid-game aggression.
Yeah, just a much more stable opening with this Sniper Axe duo. We've seen what these heroes can do in this patch, and to nobody's surprise, they deliver once again. Folks, with that said, we're going to a Game 3. We won't waste too much time here. We'll just take a quick break, hop right back into it. I'm LD. He's GoDz. You can follow him on Twitter at BTSGoDz. Myself at LDDota. And with that said, we'll take a very short pause, and then we return for your decided Game 3 loser down to the loser's bracket. Winner closes in, hones in on that first place spot, the guaranteed position at LAN. But we'll be right back.